Hey, hey, hey. I'm Tom Zuba, and it is 1 week before Christmas Eve. 1 week from today is Christmas Eve. I have two gifts. I have two gifts to give you. One is the gift of the word yes. Yes, yes, yes. What is one thing that you have planned for either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day that you're excited about, that you wholeheartedly are saying yes to? Yes, yes, yes. In the same vein, what is one thing that you have planned for either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day that you're saying yes to, but you really want to say no, 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 no. I'm not doing it this year. Say no. Say no, say no. Say yes to that which is going to lift you up, that's going to raise your vibrational level, that's going to feed your soul, that's going to hug your heart, and say no to anything else and everything else. This holiday season, more than any other holiday season, you get to take care of you. You get to take care of you. We were designed to heal, but we have to participate in our healing. I'm excited. I have two guests today coming from very, very different places. My first guest, Sherry, took the beginning of the pandemic and rather than resisting it, allowed it, dove into it, experienced it day by day by day. And as a result, she's got an incredible book that would make a phenomenal gift for anybody on your holiday list. And my second guest, Ruth Marie, who I had the pleasure of meeting a couple years ago in Cape Cod, she has lived more than one holiday season with the death of her beloved son, Billy. And she's going to share with us how that has transformed, how that has changed as she has transformed and as she has changed. So I want to acknowledge and be upfront that 1 week going into the holiday season, this may be tough for a lot of people because of stories we are telling ourselves. There is enough time. A week is an eternity. There is enough time to pay attention and to begin telling another story, So my hope is that at the end of this hour that we're going to spend together, you'll have some knowledge, you'll have a little bit more wisdom and some tools that you can use to literally create a holiday that feeds you, that lifts you, that supports you, that cares for you. So I'm going to bring on my co-host, Jessica. Not exactly sure where you are today.
No, I know. Hold on. I think we always have to do this.
No, I love the fact that you're able to just kind of glue yourself to the wall like that. That is a super talent.
You know, I have many skill sets. That is one of them.
Listen, I like your shirt.
I know. I like yours. Can I see yours? Yours has the heart in the center.
Yeah.
Yes, designed to heal. So that's my next one that I'm going to get.
So I haven't seen you in a while. How are you?
I know. Not since the mountains. Yeah,
It seems like a long time ago.
it does. I'm kicking my shoes off and getting comfortable. It does seem like a long time.
Already
I
did.
love it. Listen, if I rub it in, if I just didn't come from teaching music, that's exactly how I would be.
So how are things in your house? I know your house was touched by the virus. How is it now?
Now it's good. We are good. Knock on wood. We believe we have some type of window where, in science, they don't really know, but we're hoping 3-6 months. But we're still being very cautious. Obviously, at school, we all wear masks, and these kiddos are being so good and compliant. They just get it now, and they have to social distance. And it's hard because some of them really need hugs, but we're not supposed to.
Would you say, has Lily fully recovered?
Yes, absolutely. Thank goodness she has. And I know that we're so blessed because I do know of people that have longer term side effects like heart and lung stuff, breathing. And she had really, really mild symptoms. Again, the symptoms that bothered her the worst was her loss of taste and smell. She still had a good app. I mean, I get that because I've had that too, where I've been doing like the neti pot.
Yeah.
But we're really lucky. I always stock up on those Lysol wipes. So we still try to sanitize as soon as we come home from school, our shoe or from anywhere. Shoes are, by the door, wash our hands. So
do you feel like, did you actually have the virus, or do you not really know?
I am assuming that I did. I had some symptoms. Mine was more the GI stuff, and I had a little bit of a low-grade fever. And I always know when I have a fever coming on, and it was like 99.9. So it was really low, but that's not like me. And I know when I have something going on, my lymph nodes get swollen. I mean, I had all of that, but I tested negative twice.
Yeah.
So, but I still operated as if I had the virus. We were obviously quarantined during that time. So I have fully recovered. We both have from the physical. It's just the emotional and the social distancing was really hard. It's just not for me anyway. I think some people thrive. In the past, early grief, I would have loved to have an excuse to not have to leave the house and not have to see anyone. But during this time, not being able to work, Lily not being able to go out, it was hard.
And overall, has the presence of the coronavirus, has that impacted your holiday plans, your plans for Christmas Eve, your plans for Christmas Day?
Yeah, it has. So especially Christmas Eve, because we get together with friends that are now like family, because we've been doing it for so long. And everybody's at various ages, especially those closer to my parents' age in their early 70s. So, and it's fascinating to me. Human nature is always very fascinating to me. And I get the anxiety, the worry, the concern. Some people we haven't seen in months and months and months. They're held up. Again, we're in a rural community and they don't leave their farm and their farmhouse. They're blessed to have land to be able to go out, to not be cooped up in a little apartment, but they have really, really kept to themselves. So I think mainly for us, to answer your question, it will affect the party that we traditionally do Christmas Eve, where we extend that to, 15-ish people. I think it's just going to be family this year.
And who hosts it?
My parents. Yeah, they usually do.
And then what about Christmas Day? Are there certain traditional things that you're not going to be able to do this year?
Not because of COVID. No, because we've been with my family, even my sister's a few hours away. She works for a school district. her daughter is e-learning. It's fascinating that every school is they're meeting the needs of their community, but everyone is doing things a little bit differently. But they've been really responsible. Other family members have as well. So we feel like we could, for us, we could still get together Christmas. It's just.
So will this be your 4th Christmas since Olivia died?
It will be. Yeah. 17, 18, 19, 20. This will be our 4th. I still have to I can't believe it's been 4 years.
Yeah. So how old? So 4 years ago, how old was Lily?
Lily was 5.
So your very first Christmas after your daughter passed, it's you and your 5-year-old daughter.
And my parents.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell us about this Christmas. It's like what has changed for you, and how are you feeling about, a week from today's Christmas Eve, that it's Christmas.
Yeah.
As a mom to a little girl, how are you feeling this year?
Well, so a mixed bag of emotions for sure. I feel stronger in my grieving. I feel stronger in my connection to her. I still have those moments, as I was sharing, when we were putting up our tree, going through her ornaments. It was hard. We had tears, and then we would laugh because, a funny memory would come up, but laughter and tears, it sits side by side for us on a daily basis. But I asked, so we're also rebuilding a new life with Lily and I. So we're in a new home. And although we were here last Christmas, we chose to spend Christmas at my parents' and at the farm. But this year, Lily has said, I kind of want to do Christmas, you and I, Mommy, in our new house. I was like, I wasn't really ready for that. But I think it's amazing that she made that suggestion. So I'm going to take her lead. And she may change her mind as it gets a little bit closer, flexible. I try to be as flexible as possible, give myself grace in my emotions. I may feel strong in the morning, and then I may have, the grief creeps in, and I'll sit with it. So I'm going to be flexible with what we're going to do, but it might be our first Christmas morning where we open up gifts and stockings together, and then we go visit other family members.
Have you had a Christmas tree every year since Olivia passed?
Yes, but last year it was really, really sad. And it was here in this house.
The tree itself was sad?
The tree was really sad, but it's also funny. Thank goodness for humor. It was a tree that I took from my old home, and I was so on the fence if I was going to take it. A lot of the stuff I just left. I didn't want, those memories didn't serve me. So I was so on the fence with this topiary, and I did end up bringing it, but something was telling me leave it. But I brought it, and then the darn thing broke a day before Christmas, cracked off. So I think I kind of hodgepodged it together, and Lily goes, Mom, our tree last year was really sad. I said, I know, it was kind of like a Charlie Brown tree, but it was all that I really had the energy to put together. My mom always makes Christmas amazing. So again, we were there for that, and we got to experience her beautiful tree and all the decorations. And but this year we have a beautiful tree that we're proud of.
You mentioned stockings. I know that this can be challenging for a lot of people, regardless of whether or not it's your child, it's your spouse. What do you do with Olivia's stocking?
Well, we have it hanging up. I'll show you. We have our little mantle there with 3 stockings, and there'll be gifts inside for her. That will probably be more for Lily, and then for, it sounds silly, but our dog Faith is she's a family member, whatever brings us joy, whatever sparks joy, that'll be in there. And I'm going to write a letter to her. And Lily always writes a letter to her that we put into the stocking.
Do you keep the letters in the stocking?
Yeah. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that.
And at some point when I'm really organized and I have free time, I don't know when that will be, I'm going to like do a collage, a beautiful scrapbook that for Lily for when she's older.
Maybe you'll do that on her 25th birthday.
Maybe. I like the time frame. I think I could probably handle that.
Seriously, why does anyone need to put more pressure on themselves, you know, to create perfection?
In the past I still have bouts with it because I want to give her this magical childhood, this magical Christmas. And because of the divorce and being single, I feel like I've got to compensate and I've got to, you know, go over the top, but that exhausts me, stresses me out. I end up being a cranky mom and I'm no good to anybody. It's just pressure that doesn't need to be.
Yeah, and I go back, I'm going to paraphrase it. Maya Angelou has a quote, "They won't remember what you said, they'll remember how they felt when they were with you." I mean, that's what, Sean remembers what he felt. You know, the painstaking attention that I gave to detail, I promise you, doesn't remember that. I mean, I do, but he doesn't. That was that was freedom for me when I realized, why am I putting this unnecessary pressure on me? I'll tell you why I was. I mean, I was very cognizant of the fact that as a single dad, I did not want any of those moms or those teachers pitying him and going, "Oh, that poor thing. He's got such a loser as a dad. You know, he doesn't even know how to do the laundry." So it was self-imposed pressure. But when I released that, I was like, freedom, freedom, freedom. So it sounds like you have come to a point where you are embracing a new way to do the holidays.
Absolutely. And giving myself lots and lots of grace. And I'm so appreciative to you and the others in the community that share the same, this, you know, they'll post a picture of a tree and this is my simple but beautiful tree. And I love it and I'm proud of it.
Yeah, I think once, for me personally, and for the people that I've worked with, once we open ourselves up to the possibility, to the reality that we actually are the creator of our experience, you know, that we're not victims, that the choices that I make today are going to impact my Christmas Eve. They're going to impact my Christmas Day. And that's one of the reasons I'm excited about bringing our next guest, Sherry, on. Some of you have met Sherry because we've had her on before, but during the early days of the pandemic, rather than really resist and say, no, Sherry really opened herself up to the pandemic. She didn't resist it. And she started making a list every single day. She posted it on Facebook. One day turned into the next day, turned into a week, turned into 30 days, turned into 60 days. And they were fascinating. They were funny. They were sad. They were poignant. They were thoughtful. And many people, including me, said to her, "You need to write a book, woman. You need to write a book. You need to document what we have all lived through, because like everything, we're moving, and we forget." So I'm going to bring her on because I want her to share more about this experience. Hey, Sherry, you're connecting to audio. Hey there.
Good. Hi, Tom.
How are you?
Hey, Sherry.
I'm good. Hi, Jessica.
So good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
So I was just talking about you, and then I was saying, and I want you to take us back. Many of us at the beginning of the pandemic, which seems like about 25 years ago, many of us really, really resisted. You decided to start making lists and posting those lists on Facebook. So it's like you dove into the pandemic. What possessed you to do that?
You know, it was not intentional. I know that's one of your words, but it was not intentional because I didn't expect to have anything come together like a list on a regular basis. But pretty soon I was throughout the day finding funny things that were going on or just affecting us in a bit of a minimal way. And I thought they're kind of like what everybody else might be experiencing. But then I thought, no, people are at home. They're not experiencing these things. So I gradually started putting a few things together, and day by day, a new list was created of the things that I saw, and the top 10 list just continued to evolve.
So you literally decided to make a list of 10 things every day that in one way or another impacted you, got your attention?
Right. And in some cases, it wasn't always directly related. It was like everyday things. And I didn't have to throw those in, but I was, because like I said, this wasn't intentional to be a result of the pandemic, but it certainly was, because even those everyday things were being, if you will, compromised to some level because you couldn't go get something or do something. I went to the Boy Scout office with my son, and we got there. I'm like, they're closed. That's not an essential business. So it just was an awakening and a reality that was like, oh, wow, this is really real. This is happening. So those are the kinds of things I started to report on. And pretty soon I had some things going where it was just like, these are pandemic related. These are daily occurrences that are affecting me and us and everything we do.
And you added a sense of humor with your hashtags.
Right. And you know what, Tom? I didn't know they were funny. It was just one of those ways to quickly summarize, because I've never been able to do anything with brevity in terms of writing, talking, anything. So I thought a couple hashtags would summarize what I was trying to say in 2 or 3 lines. And I know people don't want to read a whole lot of things. So I thought if they just take a look at a 2 or 3 line sentence and catch the hashtag, they'll get the gist of what I'm doing. So pretty soon I thought, this is overused. I'm done. I'm kind of boring people. I'm boring myself. But then people said, no, don't stop at the hashtags. It's the best part. So then I would sit there. I write best at night, or I do my work. That to me, that's like my shut down, come down from the day type kind of thing. So I would sit there at night and write up my list, and then I would have a hashtag, and sometimes I wouldn't. So I look out the window and I'm like, this is too hard. I shouldn't put this much effort into it. But I did, not a lot of effort, but as I would come together, some were clever, some were witty, some were like, that doesn't make any sense, but they went. They just got listed as right along with the top 10 list.
So what's fascinating, Jessica, about this story, not a lot of people know, but sure, you have always, or for many, many, many years, you've held the idea of writing a book. It certainly was not going to be this book.
No kidding.
Tell folks, if you would, what your book is actually going to be about, the book that you and I have talked about many, many, many times.
That book has a little bit of an objective clarification issue going on right now, but the gist of the book is going to be stemming from our life at a time when my son, then 2 years old, was diagnosed with this cancerous brain tumor. He's 27 now. Thank the good Lord. He survived. He's thriving. He's doing well. He's being tested twice a week for COVID-19 because his employer requires it. So obviously I've got a young man that's, living the life. The book itself is going to be about that, not COVID-19, about Matthew having this tumor. It's going to be about him going through the educational program, him in our family, and how my other 2 children kind of fit into that piece, and where we struggled, where we didn't. It's maybe going to be about my perspective, a mother's story. It also might be a childhood cancer awareness story. Fortunately for us, Matthew's experience only involved surgery and chemotherapy. So I don't have the radiation piece or long-term effects that many kids who've experienced all three of those or just radiation have. So my piece will have our story. It'll be what happened with us and how that came about. But I've talked with my editor, and I asked her to help me clarify, what is this book about? Will it be about childhood cancer? Will it be about Matt? Will it be about my feelings towards how this all evolved, worked out, how we survived? I do remember one night when Matthew was probably about 6 months into treatment. So he was 2, he was 4. No, wait. He was 2. My baby was brand new. And my mother-in-law was at our house for this piece of time when our families took turns coming and helping us. I said, my mother-in-law had said something, and I was a little snarky. And I said, well, I hope we all know where we're at in a year from now, how we'll turn out. And so here we are turning out this many years later. So there's a mother's piece in this that talks about, the fear, the scare, the depth, the anger, all of those kinds of things that people experience in any kind of life change event that happens. So I need to clarify what that story is going to be about, what direction it's going to be, who's my audience.
Yeah. Do you feel like this surprise experience, the gift of COVID for you in creating this book, has this, do you think, helped you as you're going to get ready to write the real book that you've always been wanting to write?
It does in a lot of ways, except for the fact that I don't really say that I wrote this book because it was written when I decided to sit down and write the book. All I needed to do was lift the stuff I had written and, doctor it up, clean it up, put it in format, and then have the next level of people take care of it to put it in the book format. So writing the book gave me experience of the technical processes. The actual work involved in writing a book will become brand new, I think, in a way for me, because I will be creating something intentionally, a little bit different than how this book turned out, in that I was just able to, if you will, copy and paste. Not quite copy and paste, but recognize that there's something finished. Let's do something more with it. This next book, I believe, will take some real intentional effort to sit down, create, the plan, and identify the objective and obviously the audience, and then write. So I think I'm looking at work, a new level of work, not demand, but discipline. Some discipline to sit down and make this next book come to life.
Yeah.
So
Jerry, I'm in awe of you writing this amazing book, and then having future plans for the book that you've been wanting to write. And given Matthew's history and the treatment, and I say it's trauma. I mean, for me it was, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but watching your child go through treatment, many people have PTSD from it. So how did that spike your anxiety? Because you've lived through that. And I don't know if he's still immunocompromised, but everybody handles COVID so differently. But with your history and with Matthew's history, did that affect you even more, do you think?
Jessica, it didn't. And it almost, he is not immunocompromised. Fortunately, he's healthy. He only takes one medication, and that's been a very recent kind of thing. So we've been very, very fortunate with his health. Yet the care facility where he works, which is with a very vulnerable, medically compromised population of children, had put a lot of their non-essential, if you will, employees, such as Matthew, who works in activities, off the schedule for several weeks. And as they started to bring employees back, including Matt, they were concerned about his system, his immune system. And I said, he's fine. He is healthy like the rest of us. He does not have the same level of risk that someone who does. So him being exposed to COVID has not been traumatic for me at all. I want him to live life in a way that we do, that we can, of course, with the correct safety precautions for all of us. But as far as him, I mean, in Illinois, everything is closed. There's no place to go. He's not any more risk than you or I if we go anywhere, so interestingly enough, the COVID did not concern me about his previous history.
Beautiful. I think
Yeah.
that speaks volumes to your perspective on it.
Well,
Really.
thank you.
But
Thank
not only Sherry's perspective, but Sherry and her husband's vision for the type of life that their son Matt would live. I mean, Matt was in my son Sean's high school class. Matt White, this is one of my all-time favorite stories. Matt White was crowned homecoming king of his class. I mean, Matt White walks around Rockford today. I have been with him many times, and it's, hey, Matt, hey, Matt, hey, Matt, hey, Matt. Matt's living large. I'll put it that way.
He is. And, you know,
due to his mom and dad.
Well, thank you. And you know what? That's what's always been important for me, is to have Matthew have a lifestyle and a life that looks like what the best can be for him. We do have ways that we have limitations, but I will not let him not do something that is certainly going to enrich his life. And wherever we're at in Rockford, Tom, as you said, somebody knows him. Always.
Aww.
And they could be the server at the restaurant, or they could be somebody in line at wherever, and they always know him, and he remembers them generally and what class they had together, or, you know, whatever. So it's true. I will always make sure that he gets the benefit of every day in any way that we can possibly do that.
What a way to live life, making sure that we get the benefit of every single day. All right, I'm excited about your next book, but I want to go back to this book. Let people know the title, let people know where they can find it.
This book is called 100 Days of Staying the Hell Home in 2020, Hashtags of COVID-19. It's available both in print and on ebook through Amazon and through Barnes & Noble website. It's locally here in Rockford, Illinois, at Crimson Ridge as of this morning, which is a local boutique, very high traffic store that is open, seeing lots of activity out there. I don't have any other options that right now are outlets in Rockford because there's so much closed and nobody's open, but Meg's Daily Grind and some of those private places are going to be opening, or when they open, they'll have some books. I also, my hometown in Northeast Iowa, I was out there over the weekend, and that is just a lovely, lovely place. There's 3 locations there in their little shopping strip that has books that are available for the people that live out in that area. So
today, go to Amazon, put in 100 days of staying the hell home. That's all you need to put in. Or put in Sherry White, Sheri White. The book will come up. I promise you, for yourself, I have one. We got one for my mom. And for that person on your list where you're like, I'm not exactly sure. This is it. So what's the response been like?
Oh, it's been awesome. So much fun. And what I would like to mention here is, like, even if the people on your holiday list are not readers, this is a book that they will read because it's each day is its own chapter and it's relatable. So they don't have to worry about characters and plot and development. They'll get names throughout the book and everything, but it's one of those books that you can just pick up and go with it. And great fun to read and fast to read. What was the next thing you asked, Tom?
What's the response been like?
Oh, the response. Oh my God, it's fabulous. People stop by, they call, can I get 3? Can I get 5? I'm continually putting in orders. I didn't realize from the beginning that I should have ordered a mass quantity. Did not know what this book was going to do. So I am keeping my fingers crossed and checking my tracking system all the time on Amazon because I keep ordering books. So the response has been great. Online sales have gone excellent. I checked in with my formatter and I needed to ask a question about the process a little bit, and she felt that the sales looked fabulous for a new release like this. So I'm pretty excited.
So when you and I were talking in the pool, I remember I said to you, well, what's your goal? What's your objective? How many books would you like to sell? Do you remember that?
I do. Share?
What'd you say?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to back it up a minute because he says to me, what's your cover going to look like? I said, cover? I don't even know. I don't know what the book is going to look like at all I can see is the pages. So then he said, well, how many books do you want to sell? I'm like, I don't know. I never even thought of that. He goes, you don't have any idea? So I said, 5,000? And Tom goes, 5,000? I said, I don't know. I said, 500? And so right now we're on the mark for hitting 500 fairly soon. I think that'll happen nicely. I don't know that we'll get to 5,000, but regardless, when Tom asked me, I was like, I don't have any idea. But the response is very good. And people are buying 3, 6, 10 at a time because they are giving those gifts because it's the perfect thing for something that you're not sure what to get or that they just see a little pick me up because it is fun. It is light. It is witty and interesting. The newspaper articles and the interviews and stuff that I've done, that seems to come out from other people's reactions and perceptions. So I think that in itself will sell the book or does sell the book because it's considered a funny book.
I also think the book has a long, long life because it is recorded history of what we went through. And when I even flip through it, I'm amazed at the things that I've already forgotten that we've lived through. It's like it's been so overwhelming.
Yeah, right. And I think the history piece is excellent because for kids who are maybe in that elementary age, when they move into junior high and high school, they won't recall these incidences because they weren't driving it. They weren't stranded anywhere. They except at home because school wasn't in session. But I think too, historically, this really will become a timeless book for people to go back and think about what day-to-day life looked like. It does not have statistics about positive cases. It does not have statistics, about anything that is scientific related or political. It is not at all. It's your everyday check it out book because it's more about not relations, but relatable things that you will forget, that you had forgotten, but we were impacted in this way.
So how does it feel to be a published author?
Crazy. It's so crazy. It's been hard for me to grasp that idea, except I see my name on the book and my picture on the back cover. But it was until I really had people coming and asking for it and saying, oh, I want a signed copy. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's right. It is my book. But it's kind of fun. It is so much fun to see people's reactions and realize that I've done something that in my life wasn't intentional. I have always been the person, jump in, swim hard, don't look back. Same with this book. I jumped in, I swam, and here we are. So being an author is just kind of heady. It's like, I wasn't thinking I'd ever be an author, really.
Are you proud of yourself?
Yeah, I am. I think I'll be more proud
should be.
I know. But Jessica, your experience too, like I said, it's traumatic. I think the next book is where real pride will come in. Really putting to pen to paper what that life was like. Is like, whatever that might be. Proud, absolutely. I'm just grateful for the support with everyone that has been interested in the encouragement that they gave to continue going. Because I wasn't thinking this was making much of an impression and I didn't want to bore people with my daily posts. But when the response was great to kind of, oh my gosh, it's our newspaper in the morning. It's my nightcap before I head into for bed, that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I thought, wow, people are interested in this. They value it.
I'm fascinated that you thought that people would be bored by it. when you were posting and that you had such a great response on Facebook. And now how many sales have you had? Over 500 or?
Oh, no, not 500. It's hard to, I don't know. I don't really watch that carefully, but
it's selling. Yeah, people are buying. And the
right.
fact that you thought, I don't know if anybody's really going to be into this.
Right.
That story that we tell ourselves.
Well, and Jessica, that was part of it. I didn't want to become successful without knowing I was going to be successful. I didn't want to oversell myself. I think, oh, I'm going to order 500 books because I'll get rid of that many. My husband said the other day, goes, yeah, we're going to have a stack of books here. When the kids come to clean our house out in that time, they're going to say, oh yeah, there's that book that mom wrote, So I didn't want to have stacks of stuff. I didn't know what people were going to do because a lot of people who have read it on Facebook, I thought they've read it already, but they're buying it. They want to relive it. Like Tom said, they've forgotten things that we never thought we would forget.
Yes.
So
and
Yeah.
having it in a book, in a beautiful book that's printed, that it's all there. They don't have to scroll through previous
Right.
posts.
Right.
And then the hashtags, yes. Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you
The
very much.
theme that I'm picking up on is, and it's consistent with what we teach. You literally decided to do COVID a new way. You know, you were going to make every single day, I'm going to make a list of 10 things.
Yeah.
Novel idea. Your son is diagnosed with a tumor, a brain tumor. I didn't know you back then, but I sure know you now. You and Greg and your kids have done this a new way, a different way. I think that that's going to be a theme that's going to be throughout the pages of your second book as well. I mean, you could have gone into a really, really dark place for the rest of your life, but you didn't. You didn't. I mean, you're reaching for hope. You're reaching for light.
And in some ways, I don't know that my situation, our story is exceptional. You know, many families, yours, Jessica's, everybody has a story, and they're all exceptional. I guess part of me that self-doubt sets in. Why is my story any better? Or is it, why is it worth writing it? Who wants that material? Who wants that information? And hopefully just by the fact that Matt, knock on wood, has thrived and continues to, enjoy life, and we will help him do that as much as we can, or the best we can. I hope that's encouragement to people, especially people whose kids are surviving, and you're in those years of therapies and IEPs, and, you can't leave the kids alone yet. And, we can leave Matt alone for 8, 10, 12 hours a day. It's amazing. We never, ever, ever thought in a zillion years we'd get this far, ever, and here we are. We did. Yep. We are. Yeah.
Sherry, thank you for spending part of your holiday with us. Show the cover of your book again and tell folks where they can get it.
Okay, Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com. Your local bookstore can order it through Barnes & Noble or wherever they order their books from. It's available locally in Rockford at Crimson Ridge, or out in Dyersville in 3 of the locations. Just for you, comma. Look at, I'm texting and I feel like I'm texting, I had my comma. Just for you, Ace Hardware, and then a Pizzazz Beauty Salon in Dyersville, Iowa. I mean, that sounds a little far-fetched for the people here in this area or where you're at. I think you're out in Colorado, obviously, but Amazon and Barnes & Noble would be their best chances before Christmas.
Sherry, thanks for writing the book.
All right.
And thanks for spending some time with us.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
All
Merry
right.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Bye. Merry Christmas.
So, a new way to do COVID.
A new way to do COVID. And it's astounding to me that there would ever be a doubt. And I mean, I do the same thing when, talking with her. It's like, how could you doubt that it would be anything less than successful? That people want that, they need that. But it's the story that we tell ourselves.
It is. And that's why I'm excited about our next guest. So like I said, I met Ruth Marie 2 years ago. And I want her to share with us the story that she is telling herself that she's created about this holiday. Hey, Ruth Marie, you're on mute. So you have to unmute yourself so we can hear ya. Are you able to do that? There you go.
Got it?
Yes, we hear you. Hello.
Now I can't hear you.
You can't hear us? Technical difficulties, just like CNN and MSNBC.
We're patient.
There we are. Can you hear me?
Oh, good. Yes, we can hear you.
Hello, Tom. Hello, Jessica.
Hello.
Hi.
Good to
It's
see
so
you.
nice to see you.
Great to be here. Nice to see you too.
I see your blue lighted tree in the background.
Yes,
I
but
love
you
that.
coffee cup.
Thank you. So this is one of the reasons why I wanted to chat with you. I've had the pleasure of observing your journey from afar, because you're in Cape Cod, I'm in Illinois, but you've been very, very, very honest and visible on Facebook. And to me, it feels like this holiday season is different for you.
It truly is. And it's the first one that's been different in quite a long time. Even previous to Billy crossing over, my husband passed 3 days after Christmas in 2002. So Christmas has basically always been difficult, doing it the old way.
So what have you learned? It's like what suggestions could you offer other folks who are thinking, I'll never be happy again. I'll never really be excited about a holiday again. What have you learned?
I have learned mostly to be in the present moment, and that wasn't easy to do. The first Christmas, I was numb. The second Christmas, I was told, by so many people that the second year is the hardest, and I played right into it. And I had met you in that following July, and really that's when it kicked in for me that this guy is on to something. And it was funny because at first I didn't want to hear it. I ordered your book. It sat. I wasn't ready. I wasn't open. I wasn't ready.
We lost your audio again. We lost your audio. I wonder what happened.
Can you hear us?
I hear you now. It just gave a message.
Okay. We're back.
We're having a nor'easter here, so it could be a power situation.
So where you stopped, it's an important place. You said, I just wasn't ready.
I wasn't. I don't know if it was self-pity, the things, maybe the people I was around, some of the groups I had belonged to, they weren't resonating, but I told myself, well, this is where I should be because this is where everybody is and this is how we do it. And something clicked with me one day, and it was actually something that my son had said to his girlfriend a few years ago. I'm a gardener by trade. I gave up my insurance career to go play in the mud, which I love. And after Billy had crossed, his girlfriend had.
We lost her again. You're saying these important things. So weather is a... There you go.
Is she back?
Oh, hi. Sorry.
Hello. That's okay. We're here together.
We keep cutting out. So where did I leave off? What did you hear?
You said his... Go ahead, Jessica.
Well, after he passed.
Yes, he told his girlfriend, he said, don't tell my mother this, but I love to see her in the garden because that's where she's the happiest. And as I was laying on the couch 3 or 4 months after he crossed, debating, when do I go back to work? That conversation popped in my head. So I knew it was a nudge from Billy to say, Mom, get back in the garden. It's where you belong. It's where you're happy. And it really started from there. But the first 2 months or so, I was glued to the couch, sobbing, hanging onto his shirts. I still have his shirts. Do I hang on to them and sob? No, I look at them and smile. It's just a change in perception and staying in the present moment, which takes a lot of practice. It's not easy to do because we tend to think about the past. We tend to fear the future, which causes anxiety. I don't want those feelings. I've suffered enough. I want to live in the now. This is where I have power. and control, and where there is no time. And it's not easy to do. And I'm not saying I do it all the time, you know, but my bad days are not nearly as often as my good days.
So would you say that you kind of subconsciously just bought into the story that a mother whose child dies will never be happy again?
Of course I did. I did. And I did it with my first child, who I lost when I was pregnant. I was far along third trimester in my pregnancy. And it was keep busy, go right back to work. You have 3 days off.
We lost you.
In disguise, even though it was a terrible loss and I was young, having, you know, this new baby and having Billy kind of erased all that. So I kind of put that grief under the rug. And I did the same when my husband passed in 2002. When he passed, I had an 11 and 14-year-old to now raise by myself. You know, Christmas was difficult for both them and I, but we still celebrated. But I definitely did grief the old way with both of those other losses. And I just made a conscious decision that I wasn't going to do that when Billy crossed. He was just too full of life to have me stop living mine.
And to me, the beautiful gift that he gave you through his girlfriend, it's okay for you to be happy, Mom. Get back out there in the garden and be happy, be happy, be happy. Not only is it a beautiful gift that he gave you, but the fact that you received it and the fact that you said, I'm going to say yes to this. I deserve to be happy.
Yes, yes.
Do you get resistance from other moms and dads, or how do they respond to this new Ruth Marie that's emerging?
I do get a little resistance. I get resistance from people that I deal with on a daily basis. Because I'm supposed to be sad and crying all the time, and you know, or you're not supposed to talk about it or bring up Billy. And one of the important things that you taught me is that nobody else is going to bring him up. So I do, and I do it daily. I do it daily, and oftentimes I get no response, and that's okay. That's okay. I am keeping his memory alive. He is alive. He's more alive now than he was when he was here. I believe that.
Wow.
I believe that. He is more alive. He's restored to perfect health, perfect mental well-being. So he's like the Billy he was before he developed the disease of mental illness to me. So we actually have a very close relationship. Very close.
And I don't have to tell you this. That is a revolutionary concept.
Truly, truly. And, you know, I know that certain people I can't say that to. And when I do, they do look at me like I'm crazy because they're thinking, well, he's dead. But not to me. I am not convinced he is dead. He shows me in so many ways with signs that are unmistakable. You know, it's not a coincidence with some of the signs that he has sent me, that he is with me. And I always get huge ones during Christmas time.
Oh.
Yes.
Did you have those signs from him from the very beginning, or was it something that you needed to cultivate that connection?
Okay, well, I'll tell you. I was a big believer in signs after my husband had passed. And anytime a light would blink or something, I would tell my kids, oh, that's daddy, that's daddy. And Billy would do the quotes, oh, was it a sign, Mom? So I'm convinced when he crossed, he was validating that he now knows that I wasn't crazy, because the day after Billy crossed, it thundered like it never had before. And Billy is a drummer. So when I was a little girl, my mother told me, well, that's God bowling. And when I heard that thunderstorm the day after he crossed, it came into my head, that's Billy drumming his way into heaven. So every time it thunders now, that's my concert. I get to hear. So from day one, really, the signs came for me. But every Christmas, so my first Christmas, I debated on whether to put up a tree, let alone put up his own special tree. And I was coming out of the grocery store and I saw these tiny little trees, the tabletop trees. And I said to myself, well, maybe I could just put a little one up, you know, for Billy. The very first one I looked at, and I have it right here. I don't know if you can see this. In this ornament is a white feather, which was in the middle of this Christmas tree that I was drawn to. I didn't even look at the other Christmas trees, but I went over and I saw this white feather in the Christmas tree that I bought for him, and knew that was a sign. I mean, sure, you see them on the beach. I live on Cape Cod. We're loaded with seagulls. Sure, there's white feathers. This was stuck in the middle of his first Christmas tree, and I knew it was a sign. The second Christmas, I went to his elementary school. He has a brick with his name on it. And it was the middle of the winter. It was snowing. There was a storm. The school was closed. And Billy's favorite color is blue, which is why I have my tree all in blue for him. In the parking lot of this school was this blue glitter ornament just laying there. There was, you know, not that somebody had dropped a bag and there were other ornaments. It was one blue glittered ornament laying there. Now this school is down a dirt road. It's not on the main road. How did that get there? So I took it that Billy left that blue ornament for me because he knew I was there seeing his brick. Always been a believer in signs, but you do have to have an open mind, I believe, to receive these gifts. It's our way of communicating now. It's our way of communicating.
So, Ruth Marie, I have met many, many, many people over the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I very, very, very clearly remember meeting you at that church in Cape Cod.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember just hugging you and hugging you and hugging you and hugging you. And I could feel a sense of who you were on that day. So to be with you today and to see you literally radiating light from your being, how proud are you of yourself?
More proud of Billy awakening me. I'm proud of myself. I've been through the fire like you. I've lost 2 children. I've lost a husband. I've walked through the fire before, but this time I'm walking in glory, like Wonder Woman. I mean, I am proud of myself because it's been a long road. It's been a long road.
There's nothing easy about it. If we're suggesting that this is easy.
Absolutely. No, absolutely not. And it was that way for the past 15, 16 years.
But I always say, but it's worth it. Don't you think it's worth it?
It is. It is. My dad always told me anything worth having isn't accomplished easily. And he was right. And to find joy again, it was not easy. It was grueling at times.
So if there's somebody listening to you, to us, who's thinking, she doesn't really understand who I am. I'm different. Mine is somehow not the same as hers. I don't think that what she's created, I would ever be able to create. What's the first thing, or what's one thing that you would suggest that maybe someone open up to that will help them lean into this new way of doing grief and new way of doing life?
To have hope and to be grateful for every second you are alive and able-bodied and able to put your foot on the floor in the morning and get out of bed. Many can't. Many can't. To be grateful and have hope. Hope.
That is so true. I mean, that is getting back to the basics. For any of us that have traveled anywhere to a third world country, we know how fortunate we are to have electricity, to have a roof over our head. You turned on a faucet the same as I did, hot water came out. Start there. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude is the door that we can enter to this new life.
Absolutely. And it does take work and soul searching, because when this first started, with my baby dying, with my husband dying, there were days I would wake up mad at God that I woke up. I would look up and say, why? Why do you have me here? I'm here for a specific reason. I did not come here to suffer. I did not. I have suffered, but it's not why I came. Truly.
So being with you makes my heart sing. It really, really does. To see and feel, to really feel the transformation in you, and to feel the life that you're creating for yourself. It honestly gives meaning and purpose to every ounce of suffering that I've walked through. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Tom. I am blessed and full of gratitude to have found you. I don't believe that I might have got here this quickly without the tools you've provided. Everything happened at the right time, and in meeting you and your tools and your books that I keep right. These are my Bibles. These are my Bibles, and I read them often. So I thank you.
And you know what? Let's the three of us thank your amazing son, Billy. Let's thank Billy. So thank you everyone for being with us. Next Thursday, which is Christmas Eve, I am excited because my friend Rachel Pearson is going to be with us. And I really, really want to talk with her about what does Christmas Eve and what does Christmas Day, what significance and meaning does that have in the spirit world for folks on that side and for folks on this side. So we will be back live next Thursday, 11 a.m. Central. Ruth Marie, Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you and Jessica as well.
Merry Christmas. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thanks for
I'll see you next week.